Okay, looks like I'm going live here. Hello from Cleveland, Tennessee, the Homesick Art Fair virtual art show. Myself and several other artists are going to be um, broadcasting either live or putting videos together showing our work in our areas. It's actually an international deal. We have one artist from British Columbia that's participating. So go to the Homesick Art Fair Facebook event page. So just put in Homesick Art Fair. You should find it, or there's links on my Facebook page to take you there. And there's, I don't know, I think there's 10 or 11 artists. My artist friend, he's a printmaker, Chris Plummer in Henderson, Kentucky. He started this, did one on his own last month from his studio there in Kentucky, and apparently he had some success with it. At least had fun. So he invited a bunch of his artist friends to do the same thing. So I'm set up here in my backyard here in Tennessee with a lot of my work. I'm going to show you here in a little bit. Some older work, some newer work. Actually, I have more work than I have frames for, so just kind of a smattering of my work, what I have on hand that I'd like to show you. For those just tuning in who may not have caught it, this is the Homesick Art Fair put on by my friend Chris Plummer. It's a pretty cool idea, actually, since we're all social distancing and a lot of the art fairs that a lot of us attend throughout the year are being canceled. So it seemed like a kind of a cool idea. I've never seen it done before, a virtual art fair. We'll see how this goes. For me, I'm a plein air artist, oil painter. Most all of my work is done on site. I have a backpack I carry out and set up and paint whatever catches my eye. Mostly, obviously, you'll see waterfalls and rocks and that kind of thing where I can hike up to, get away from society. But that's what I just love to escape and go paint. That's what all my work is mostly. I mean, there's some still lifes here that I set up in my studio and paint, but most of my work is landscapes from life. If you want to see more of my work that's not being shown here in my booth, you can go to my website, todddur.com, or my daily paintworks is actually what I keep more updated, and it has prices and everything. Has a PayPal link. You can purchase right from there, and I charge no shipping, so you're just paying for the painting. And those paintings on my daily paintworks I sell, the prices are unframed, so try to give you a good reasonable price. But if you want one framed, like most all my frames here, black and gold, I can set you up that way too. I just charge to cover the cost of the frame. I have an Instagram account. You can check me out there, Todd Durr Artist. It's all pretty straightforward, just Todd Durr everything. If you put in my name in a Google search, you're going to find pretty much all my art. I have a Facebook page, Todd Durr Fine Art, and also on YouTube, which is kind of cool. You can go to my YouTube. I'll shoot little short videos of me out painting. It's not an instructional kind of thing. It's just more for like inspiration. That's a lot of our artists are always looking for ideas or just inspiration, and there's a lot of artists that I like who post YouTube videos that show what they're doing in their neck of the woods, and it's pretty cool. So I try to do the same thing, hopefully inspire somebody like other people have inspired me. So that's most of all my social media kind of things where you can find me. Be sure to go to the Homesick Art Fair event page and check out all the other artists. I don't know all of them, but there's Chris, who's an excellent printmaker, and there's other artists, photographers, painters. I think there may be some potters. Check out what they're doing today. With that, I think I've covered everything I wanted to hit. I actually wrote some things down. That's unusual for me. So I'm going to flip the camera around and I'll just take you on a quick tour of the booth here. And if you have any questions, shoot a question in the comments, or if you have an inquiry about a specific painting, I'll be happy to tell you about it. So with that, I'm going to flip the camera around. So let's see how I do this. There's a button here somewhere. There it is. All right. And I'm sorry, this is Facebook Live, so the video quality probably isn't that great. So I'm going to post another. When I finish this, I'll post it on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, and I'm shooting it in 720p, so it should be higher resolution once it's actually published. So this is the painting I have on my front wall here. Did this painting in 2016. It's a 18 by 24 from in the Tetons, actually the Jedediah Smith Wilderness area, when I took a hike with Jake, my son, when we were out there for the Driggs Digs plein air event. I love this painting. I call it Ghost on the Mountain. This desiccated, dried up tree. I'm sure it's some kind of spruce or pine or something. But it just stood out in that bright western sky. Some wildflowers. We were out there in July. Another one from that trip in Wyoming and Idaho. This is the Tetons, obviously. This is an 8x8. Just a late afternoon painting. The sun was catching the cliffs there inside this canyon, Garnet Canyon, which leads up. There's the Grand Teton. I just love the Tetons. I could just stay there and paint forever if it ever allows me to. This is a painting I did in the Hoosier National Forest last year. Rode my bicycle actually on a trail back there. This is in German Ridge, and this painting is a 6x8. It actually won a first place award at the Audubon Museum in Henderson last year, so that was a pretty cool deal. All right, coming inside here, give you a quick little spin around here. I got a lot of paintings, so hopefully I don't bore you. This is a recent painting. It's a 20 by 24 of the Tellico River up here in East Tennessee in the Cherokee National Forest. This is a studio painting. I love that area up there. It's a great spot. Definitely gonna be a lot of paintings coming from Tellico. This is a little 5x7 painting on the Appalachian Trail, actually, up in Smoky Mountain National Park, looking down in a valley. This one's not too far from here in Cleveland. This is Parksville Lake. This is a plein air piece that I did this winter. An overlook up there looking down on Parksville Lake. Looking south, those mountains you see in the distance are over in Georgia. So we're really close to Georgia here. This is a plein air I did down on Casperson Beach in Venice, Florida. It's a 5x14, kind of a odd shape, but I like those kind of long formats like that, either vertically or horizontally. Kind of let you, I don't know, do some cool stuff. And these are shark tooth hunters. Like I can't remember what I called this one. Tooth seekers, I think. This one's just down the road here from the house. I painted it not too long ago. Some cow. We're surrounded by a lot of cattle farms. So I'm gonna have to like to paint cows because we got tons of them around here. And that's a Chilhowie Mountain in the background there. The view we can see from our house here. This one is the Boquillas Canyon in Big Bend National Park. This is from my trip in 2018 that I did. This is a studio piece that I worked up from some photos and some plein air studies that I did. Really like this painting. It made it into the Hoosier Salon Show 2018, I believe. Didn't win anything, but got in the show, which was pretty good deal for me up in Indianapolis. Here's a still life that I did this winter since we moved down here to Tennessee. Just a tangerine or something there. Just I don't know. It's a 5x7. A little different for me. Same here. This winter, a bowl of strawberries. My wife bought this bowl. She wanted me to paint it, so I obliged her. This is a 8x8. This is a recent plein air still life that I did on my back, just right up there on the deck. Oh, my wife bought some. Just went brain dead. You know what kind of flowers those are. We planted them on the side of the house, but I painted them before I planted them. And that is a 14 by 11. Like I say, these are all oil paintings on linen. Here it is. Yeah, hydrangeas, babe. Thanks. Saved me. This is up on a place called Goforth Creek. I believe it's pronounced Gee, G-E-E. It's up in the Cherokee National Forest. I did that back this winter. It's a beautiful spot. I mean, there's just so many places around here that I can paint. It's going to keep me busy for a while. So that one is a 12 by 16. Here's the one I did up on the Tellico a few weeks ago. 9 by 12. This is actually a tributary of the Tellico called North River. Excellent trout fishing, which I have yet to get a line in the water, but I'll be working towards doing that. Here's an older painting I did of the street in front of the place we rented in Hawaii when we were married in 2007. What's the title of this one? If you can pronounce that. That was the street. It's a beautiful spot on the north shore of Oahu. So we may not sell that one, but I don't know. Everything's for sale. Here's a plein air piece from back in western Kentucky. In the Mantle Rock area, which I always go and paint, which is pretty close to my in-laws in Livingston County, Kentucky. Got several paintings from that spot. Plein air. It's a 12 by 12. And here's one from the gazebo overlook here in just outside of Cleveland, up on Chilhowie Mountain. This is looking west during a sunset. Nice view over the fields and stuff, looking back towards Cleveland. That's a 10 by 8. This is a studio painting that I did this winter from photographs I shot in Spencer County, Indiana. I don't know. It was just in my archive of photos, wanted to paint it, so it's a 12 by 24. Kind of just a ubiquitous scene you have in southern Indiana. This one is probably the largest, I think it is the largest plein air painting I've done to date. It's a 24 by 30 that I did on Easter last year at that Mantle Rock area in Livingston County. And it's just this waterfall. It's called Mandy Falls. Apparently back in the 1800s there was a woman who lived right above the falls. They called it Mandy Falls after her. This is a view from my campsite I had in Big Bend National Park. This is the Chisos Mountains. One morning back in 2018. Beautiful area. The desert there is just amazing. I'll definitely have to go back there sometime. That one is an 8 by 16. This here is the hiking trail my son and I, Jake, took in 2016 going up to Table Mountain, which is this spot you see right there, which then has a view, the Grand Teton, which is right there. And it was a quite demanding hike. Kicked our butts since we drove straight out there from Kentucky, and the trailhead started at like 7,800 feet and went up to over 11,000 feet. And I'd carried my painting gear and books for Jake to read, and it was a full 14-hour day hiking up there and back. And we didn't quite make it all the way to the very top of that. We got along that ridge line up there somewhere, and we ran out of water. We were just toasted, so we turned around and head back. Discretion on the better part of valor there. We'll have to go back and finish that hike. This one here is Darby Creek in the Jedediah Smith wilderness there in Idaho-Wyoming border. And just this is studio painting that I've done and worked on many a times trying to get it right. I still don't know if I have it right, but that's where it's at right now. I kind of like it, but it's what it is. And it's a 12 by 24. And here's a little bitty painting from the Mountain Rock area there in western Kentucky. Like I say, I've done tons of paintings from that area. That's just a little bitty plein air piece. I do think I have a YouTube video of this one, if you want to go to my YouTube channel and check it out. This is another one from the Tellico River. Little plein air painting, 4x8. These are just fun little paintings to do. Could knock them out real quick and still catch a lot of the scene. This is my most recent. I just did this one the other day when the kids and I went out for a little hike. This is Goforth Creek. Little spot along there. Oh, I love that painting. I think it turned out great. 6x8. Here's one up on the Ocoee River. I just did back this winter since like I said, we moved here to Tennessee in the middle of November. And it took me a little while to get back in gear painting, but this is one I did this winter. Little waterfall kind of sneaking down through the rhododendrons. And it's up by the Ocoee Whitewater Center where the Olympics were held in 1996, where all the rafting and kayaking and all that stuff takes place. Pretty cool area. This is another one from my trip to Big Bend National Park in 2018. It's a plein air piece. It's 11 by 14. They call that the window. It's in the Chisos Mountains. You're up about, I forget the elevation. It seems like it's around 5,000 feet. And looking out over the high desert to the west there. Well, we're on the Big Bend thing. Here's another one from basically the same spot where I was painting that one. I just kind of turned 90 degrees to my right and this painting. Just the Chisos Mountains has like a basin. You drive up over the rim and drop down in the basin, so that you got kind of surrounded by all these mountains. And I believe that one's a 12 by 9. Here's a very recent painting from Goforth Creek, 6 by 8. Really happy with that one too. These little 6 by 8s are really fun to paint. I know a lot of people think painting small is harder, and it is in a way. You got to really edit. But I don't paint big very often because I hike in, and it's kind of hard to carry a big panel in very far and pack it out with wet paint and all that. This is Terlingua Ghost Town in West Texas, there by Big Bend National Park. Another plein air painting from my trip there in 2018. Really happy with how this one turned out. This one actually, the wind, I was standing back looking at my painting, and the wind, of course, picked up all of a sudden and blew the easel over, and this painting landed face down in the sand and rocks. So I scraped some of that out and had to fix it, but I think it turned out pretty cool. And it's 11 by 14. Well, that's all I've got hanging. I brought some pieces out and just have them laid on my table because I've got way more paintings than I have frames. This is a recent plein air. This is, where was this at? This is Goforth Creek up in the Cherokee National Forest. It's a 9x12. This is up in drainage for the Ocoee River. Boyd's Gap, I believe that's what it's called. I didn't write it on the back. Boyd's Gap, I believe. And there was snow on the ground. Fun little painting to do. People driving by think you're crazy standing out in the snow painting, but I love it. There's a little still life I did a few years ago, actually, when we still lived in Owensboro. Some strawberries my wife bought and said, paint them. So there we go. And this is just down the road from the house. Some cows were standing out in the rain, as was I, out walking in the rain, because that's the kind of person I am. Love it. So, little 6x8. My chili painting. You know, who doesn't paint their dinner? So, this is back during the first parts of the shutdown. You're right, babe. So, anyway, thought it was a cool little painting, 6x8. This is one I won an award with. I can't remember if it's first or second, up in Brown County in Nashville, Indiana, for the village paint out they had a couple years ago. Kind of happy with that one. Came in right behind Wyatt LeGrand, who got Best of Show, of course. Awesome painter. If you don't know who Wyatt is, check him out. Wyatt LeGrand. Cool dude. This is a plein air painting from Florida. One of my favorite paintings I've ever done, actually. A little 8x10 on Casperson Beach. Just love the way the water looks and the rocks and the shadows. Just worked out great. Some lemons I painted here during the quarantine period. It wasn't getting out just yet, so I was painting stuff in the studio. So I set up a little bowl of lemons, painted that. 8x10. Here's some irises from the backyard here. This is a little one, little 6x6. My VW bus painting. This is Tarpon Springs, Florida. I found this bus sitting behind a grocery store, I think it was. But just a neat little painting. I love VW buses. This is the Webb Brothers place in Reliance, Tennessee, back this winter. It's kind of a cool spot. This is right on the Hiwassee River, which is a big time rafting, canoeing, fly fishing. It's a pretty awesome spot. 8x10 on that one. Oh, the sun's shining there. This is one I just did up on the Tellico, North River area there in Tellico River Gorge. Just a bridge over one of the little tributaries. That's let's see, what is that? 6x12. And here's a 9x12 studio painting I did of a spot I drove by back in the winter up on Chilhowie Mountain. It was in the morning. I just loved the way the sun was shining through the trees there. So didn't have as a matter of fact, the day I did not take any painting gear with me, so I just shot a picture on my phone and painted it here in the studio. So that's everything that I've got to show you out here in my booth. Obviously I've got tons more paintings, so what I would suggest is go to my daily paintworks or go to my website and look and see and find something you like, and I would be glad to quote you a super price on it to get it out of my collection and into yours. It's a beautiful day today here in East Tennessee. My studio is right there in the corner of that addition to the house. So I reckon I will be signing off here. I'm going to flip the phone back around because I don't want to be talking to a blank wall. All right. I appreciate you all tuning in. I'll post this on the event page for the Homesick Art Fair. You can go back and look at it there. Obviously, I'll be sharing it all on all of my social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, maybe even my YouTube channel. So, hope you all are doing well wherever you're at. And I may actually, later today, when the sun gets a little better position, do a plein air and see about doing a Facebook Live during that. We'll see how it goes. It's a beautiful day, though, so I should. All right. Peace, and we'll talk at you later.